Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Science Society Club. I'm Harry, and today with my co-host Ning Ning. How's it going, Ning Ning?
Hey Harry, I'm doing great and I'm looking forward for today's topic.
Me too. Midterm and finals exams can be such a daunting experience, right?
Yes, indeed. And I know our listeners are going to love today's topics because we have some fascinating study techniques to share.
Exams are a real headache, and have you ever experienced a whole night studying and still not sure if you'll get the right answer?
Honestly, all the time. I found it quite hard to manage to be confident about the result after my one night cramming.
All right, but don't you worry because we'll be diving down into three incredible techniques that will help you study faster and smarter, making your midterm and final experience a whole lot smoother.
Ooh, brilliant. But first, let's understand the problem deeply.
Yeah, exams are a nightmare for all of us. We cram, we procrastinate, and the result is often less than ideal. We need the right study techniques to help us organize our time and manage the assignments properly. And it's not about just getting through the exams, but it's about learning effectively. Like you said, cramming is bad and actually is a common pitfall. But do you know why it is such a bad idea?
Well, for one, cramming leads to poor long-term retention. The information we cram doesn't make it to our long-term memory.
Yeah, exactly. And it also doesn't allow us for a deep understanding. Plus, it's a fast track to anxiety and stress, which negatively affects our cognitive functions. And also, poor sleep quality often comes hand in hand with cramming, which we all know that sleep is crucial for memory consolidation. And Ling Ling, what methods are you familiar with when it comes to learning faster and effectively?
Well, I have tried the Pomodoro technique. It's quite fascinating how short timed intervals can keep you so focused. Actually, I was skeptical at first, but after trying out during my last set of exam, I found it incredibly helpful for maintaining my concentration, especially with like subjects that are like requires a lot of memorization.
That's great. It seems like it really worked out for you, and it's all about finding what works best for our individual learning styles, right?
Absolutely, but I'm curious, Harry, have you adopted any particular techniques so far?
Yeah, I'm a little bit of old school, and I stick to reviewing lectures and writing things down physically, and it also helps with memory retention. And there's something with when you write physically, it helps me remember more as well. And although I haven't really structured my study technique like the Pomodoro one, but I do actually spread out my study segments into intervals, and but I don't strictly time myself. So I guess it's more like an informal Pomodoro technique.
Yeah, that makes sense, Harry. I've noticed like taking notes are quite handy as well, and writing note during lecture forces me to really listen and decide what's crucial to write down. Rewriting the lecture helps me understanding the material as well.
Yeah, exactly. And rewriting notes is also a trick I use. And I find that each time I rewrite, I understand a concept a little bit better. And I also pretend that I'm teaching someone else because I heard that explaining concepts in your own words is a great way to learn.
That's actually an interesting approach because it's actually aligns with the peer teaching techniques that we're going to talk about later as well.
Right. And you know what? I also use mnemonics for those tricky bits that just refuse to stick in my memory, and associating complex information with a song, a phrase, or even a funny image can make the recall much easier during exams.
Yeah, actually, I do agree. So, shall we move on to our next segment where we dive deeper into our study techniques?
Yeah, let's do it.
Now that we have identified the issues, let's talk solution. The first technique we want to share is Pomodoro technique. It's an absolute game changer, like I've mentioned.
Yeah, it is an absolute game changer. It's a time management method that is rooted in research. It's all about breaking your study time into 25-minute focused work sessions and 5 minutes breaks in between.
Right, it is supported by science as well. Studies have shown that working long hours in a task can lead to cognitive boredom. So these short breaks can help you concentrate better.
Yeah, so to implement this technique, first you choose a task you want to work on. Then you set a timer for 25 minutes and work on that task until the timer ends. Then you take a short 5-minute break. After completing 4 cycles, you take a longer break for about 15 to 30 minutes.
Right, research shows that regular short breaks can help students maintain focus, increase productivity, and reduce stress.
And also, there is a study published in 2021 where they found that taking short breaks can help our brains to learn new skills as it allows us to replay compressed memories of what we just practiced.
That's a fantastic technique. Let's move on to lightness system. It is based on this principle of spaced repetition. It is backed by science that it is the best way to retain memory and information over long periods of time. It's like a memory booster, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. The lightness system leverages the science of spaced repetition, which describes how our brain are more likely to retain information after a long period of time, of study time. And it's all about creating flashcards and with the material that you're studying, and then categorizing them into 3 to 5 physical boxes or storage bins.
Right, and those boxes are labeled with different review intervals like every day, every other day, or once per week. It's all about repetition at the right time intervals.
Exactly, Ning Ning. Review the flashcards and move them to the next box if you answer the question correctly. If not, they go back to the first box. So the goal here is to get all the cards into the last box for maximum retention. And the lightness system is a great way to ensure long-term memory retention. Now let's talk about a third technique, which is peer teaching.
Right, when students teach their peers, they're required to organize and articulate information, which stimulates higher order thinking and enhances memory consolidation. It's like a master class in understanding.
Right, it's a team effort by first pairing up with a study buddy or a small group and decide what you're going to work on with review the material and maybe prepare a short presentation. Then teach and learn from one another and don't forget to share thoughts and feedbacks to improve the understanding. And there you have it, 3 incredible techniques to help you study faster and more effectively during your exam.
Right, there's the Pomodoro technique, which helps emphasize short focused work session followed by brief breaks. It combats boredom and enhances concentration.
Next is the lightness system, which this technique leverages science of spaced repetition, and by categorizing flashcards and reviewing them at intervals, you improve your long-term memory retention. And the next one is peer teaching, which is basically collaborating with peers to teach them and understand the topic.
Right, so learning doesn't have to be a headache, eh? With the right tools and strategies, you can ace your exam with confidence.
Yeah, exactly. It's about working smarter, not harder.
Right, and thank you for joining us on this episode. We hope you found these techniques valuable and practical. If you enjoyed this conversation, please subscribe to our Science Society Club podcast and share it with your friends and fellow students. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.